Okay, I do believe the camera's on. Never can tell with this damn camera if we're even on. Anyway, I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. And we are going to be reviewing today John Grisham, The Rooster Bar. I got my entire John Grisham collection right here behind me. It's beautiful. All of the books. Every John Grisham book. I'll get a close-up of that. Because, I mean, this deserves a close-up, folks. Look at that. Look at that wonderful collection. Oh, just beautiful. And as you know, I love graphic design and I love illustrations. So let's review the cover first, like all the John Grisham books, you know. It's got a sweet cover. You know, with John Grisham books, we're not looking for like with my novels that have like a fantasy illustration and a funky type. With John Grisham, with these big blockbuster bestsellers, all you really need is the dude's name in gold foil, and then the title and a few sparkling lights, and you got it, and that's all you need. I think that's all you need. And these guys, these graphic designers, they knocked it out. I love the John Grisham covers. They all alike, man. They all look good. They all look sharp on the shelf. So, let's see, what does this book about? I'm gonna read the back quote by Ken Follett, another one of my favorite authors. Ken Follett, Pillars of the Earth, maybe you heard of that. Eye of the Needle, he wrote that one too. Ken Follett says, John Grisham is the best thriller writer alive. It was right there, man. It says it right there. I agree. Especially when it comes to legal thrillers. And this is another one of his great legal thrillers. This one, I looked on Goodreads and Amazon at some of the other reviews people have left. People don't like this book. Grisham fans don't like this book. And I'm like, okay, why are they not liking it? Why are they not liking this book? And most of the complaints are they thought that the characters were shady. Now, there were no good characters. Like, all the characters were kind of gray and evil. It was like John Grisham's Game of Thrones, you know, where everybody was stabbing each other in the back. And they didn't like that because people are used to John Grisham having the evil corporation and then the very super righteous do-gooder that never makes mistakes, that always is on the right side of the law, you know, winning in the end. And this book ain't like that at all. It starts out like that. It starts out with a great premise that really got me hooked, where these law students, these 4 law students, and their names are Mark, Todd, Zola, and Gordy. They are at a law school, and they rack up a ton of debt while they're in law school. And it's sort of like a predatory practice that the law school has with the loan company, where they're just like, the law school knows that the degree because they're not at an Ivy League law school. They're not at Harvard or Yale or something where they're going to graduate and just automatically be given like a $500,000 a year job. No, they're at kind of like country bumpkin law school where it's still expensive as hell. And the law school's kind of running this racket where they charge a huge, huge amount of tuition, and they promise all this, like these riches once that you graduate, and then people to pay for it, to pay for the expensive tuition, they're kind of in cahoots with the loan shark people, and hey, we'll loan you all this money so you can go to law school on our dime, and you'll just pay it back like a student loan, right? And these four students, these 4 up-and-coming law students, Todd, Zola, Gordy, and Mark, they take advantage of the system of getting the loans to the tune of, each one of them goes into debt between $200,000 and $300,000, and they still haven't got their degrees. And they're realizing that even if they do pass the bar exam, nobody from this college really ever gets hired, because it's kind of like It's kind of like Trump College. Remember Trump College, where it kind of went out of business, but it was like a business school, but not really. It was just a way for Trump to make money. And I'm not trying to bash on Trump or anything like that, because I don't either bash on the left or the right in this show. But I'm just trying to make a point that there's a lot of these kind of things out there, and Grisham has sort of he finds that, whether it's insurance companies or whatever, that are taking advantage of people. And then his legal thrillers, he lets the lawyers sort of fight for the underdog. And so now we're going to have this fight for the underdog, right? We've got these 4 students that are high in debt to these predatory loan sharks and these predatory law schools. And they're going to get their revenge, right? And they're going to do it righteously, right? And that's where things turn. This is the pivotal moment where most John Grisham fans start to hate this book, because these characters don't go about getting their revenge in really the most ethical of ways. They really do almost become sort of as slimy and skeezy as the people they're trying to get back at. And what they do is, well, first of all, of the 4 of them, one of them's from Senegal, and so she's under threat of being deported at any time. The other 3 are men, and one of them dies about a quarter of the way through the book, and I won't tell you how or why or what. And so then there's just the 3 of them, and when their friend dies, that's when they kind of hatch their plan, and it involves the Rooster Bar. And it's just this plan that they are going to start practicing law, even though they're not lawyers. And they do it in really skeezy ways, but they start making a shit ton of money, and they start putting out lawsuits. And the judges are just like, hey, these are sharp lawyers. He doesn't realize that they're not lawyers, that they're just students, and they don't even haven't passed the bar exam or anything. And so they're just, and then the loan sharks, but by the way, they've all dropped out of college too. So they all drop out of the college first. And then, so once they drop out, then the college and the loan sharks start coming after them for the loans. And there are some great back and forths, because John Grisham puts in here like the letters that the loan sharks will, like the letters that the collection agency will send them, and then they're sort of just fucking with the collection agency when they write their letters back, like, well, I'm still waiting to win the lottery, then I'll pay you, or I just got put into a mental health. I just got put into a mental hospital, so I can't pay you now. And, and your letters, you keep sending me letters, and they're making me very suicidal. And we might have to sue you my family will probably sue you if I commit suicide in here, because, they're just, the collection agency's just trying to get their money back, because they have legitimately loaned it to these people. And it is money that they need to collect back. And these students are just fucking with them, right? Like, just like, we're not going to pay back. In fact, they start to launch like class action lawsuits against the companies. But then the authorities start to get wise up to the fact that maybe these people aren't real lawyers. And that's where the fun begins, and all of the great, it's just a great, people dog on this book as being Grisham's worst. And I'm like, it's just because everybody in the book is slimy and becomes slimy. But that's why I loved it. It was different. It was so different. And the characters were so different. And their motives were completely asinine. It was asinine, and they did a lot of asinine things. And their motives were all, though you're kind of rooting for them to beat the corporation, you also realize they're breaking the law along the way too. And they're hurting people along the way too. And they legitimately did take out those loans, and they do have to pay them back. And the people that gave them the loans need the money back. It's not like student loans are some sort of evil, and Grisham's trying to make that point. It's like, yeah, it's predatory. It's predatory. Colleges charge way much for tuition. Colleges are just a bad idea anymore, especially if you have to go into debt for it. And he's making all these points, but he's also like, at the same time, if you do take out the loans, people did give you a lot of money, and you do have to pay that back. But this is just a fun novel of bad people kind of out conning other bad people, and I just had a blast with it. I had a blast with it. So all those people that shit on it on Goodreads because it's not your typical Grisham, there's no good guys. Well, it's not every story has to have good guys. And I give Rooster Bar a solid 9.5 out of 10. I read this thing in about 4 hours, and I sped through it because I was just delighted with every word.